Hello friends, James Stevenson here with a video about the Tesla Cybertruck. What are the price points going to be when Tesla announces them? Well, we've got some theories. We don't have any official word from Tesla yet. I'll get to that in just a second after checking in with my co-host Loki, who is curled up in bed, before sharing my desktop to show you this tweet from Alex at AJ Tourville. On Twitter, Forbes says Tesla has started shipping Cybertruck. Kelley Blue Book says we currently estimate it will start at around $50,000. That would put it right in line with the mass market Ford F-150 Lightning, which starts at $50,000. Oh yeah, it's so mass market that they've sold 20,000 of them globally this year. That's and good luck finding a dealership that will sell you a Ford F-150 Lightning for $49,995. I'm not sure I've heard of any dealership selling any Ford F-150 Lightnings at that price point. They tend to want to charge you a little bit of dealer markup. So let's take a look at this article. Here it is. Now, if you just click the regular link through to Forbes.com, they will overwhelm you with ads at the top of the page and at the bottom of the page and on the left and on the right, and they spill over the content in the middle. I was trying to figure out how to frame it up for you when I found reader mode, which I think is the only decent way of viewing this. So here you go. Headline: Tesla starts shipping Cybertruck. Without a price, Tesla Cybertruck price is blissfully ignored among all of the social media fervor, and there is that. Anytime people see a Cybertruck out on the roads, they are taking video and photos and posting them online to TikTok and Twitter and everywhere else. Facebook, I'm sure, for those who use it. Cybertruck production has begun ahead of a presumed fall delivery event. And the price? Who cares? People want their Cybertrucks and they don't care how much they cost. Cybertrucks in camo, which is always very funny, trying to camouflage the world's most recognizable vehicle. What's different this week is the appearance of car carriers. So there were a bunch of Cybertrucks spotted on car carriers. But what's unknown was the destination, who was taking receipt of those Cybertrucks. Probably just more Tesla employees doing more testing of those production release candidates, which is what you call the beta build versions of the vehicle before you start making them for end customers in earnest. That's what Tesla said in the Q2 investor update letter, that they were making release candidate builds. Approximately 2 million people have placed an order for a Cybertruck. Find me another vehicle for which that is true. 2 million customers waiting for it. At the release event, or the unveiling event, I should say, from 2018 or something, the initial announced price was $39,900. Well, there has been some inflation in the market since then. You could also buy a bunch of different cars back then for less than $20,000 in the US. Today, you can't buy any car, no matter how compact or economy, for less than 20 grand. They all start higher than that. So, Elon did tell us in May at the annual shareholder meeting it's going to be hard to make it affordable because it is a new car and a new manufacturing method. So the $39,900 price point may not happen, or it may not happen for a long time. Anyway, the initial unveil specs were single motor, $39,900. I'm not sure Tesla is even going to make a single motor version of Cybertruck. They may decide to make dual motor, tri-motor, quad motor. I don't know if they're going to make a single motor Cybertruck. That seems like maybe not worth the effort to make a Cybertruck and then only put one motor in, given how much one motor costs Tesla to make these days. Maybe it adds $1 or $2 grand to the cost of the vehicle. So probably you should just put at least 2 motors on every Cybertruck and call it good. You can charge a lot more for a vehicle that has 2 motors than for a vehicle that only has 1. What did Matt Dagan at Kelley Blue Book say? He says, we currently estimate it will start at around $50,000. That's the quote we saw from Alex's tweet. I'm not surprised by the price change. Keep in mind the same thing happened with the Lightning to a point. When sales started, it was also marketed at 40 grand. And some early models may have sold around that price, but then the base price quickly increased. So Ford was able to say that they kept their $40,000 unveil price because it was available for like the first couple of weeks that they were selling Ford F-150 Lightnings before they raised the price a lot. And of course, they're losing money hand over fist on these. They were losing like 60 grand per EV they sold a couple of quarters ago. So big losses per vehicle from Ford on every EV they sell. Tesla makes money on every EV they sell. The elusive affordable EV. These days, EV consumers don't bat an eye at a $60,000 price tag. With a couple million reservations for the Cybertruck, questions about whether Tesla will offer a $39,900 Cybertruck may be irrelevant, Musk said in July. Demand for the vehicle is so off the hook, you can't even see the hook. That said, Tesla changes prices constantly. The price of the forthcoming Cybertruck is a moving target. Musk, who does seem to try to make his cars more affordable, may get to $39,900 someday. Yeah, we saw this with the Model 3 when it first came out. You had to get the performance version of the Model 3, which was like 80 grand, I think, very early on in the production. And they only sold the long range for a while, and they were prioritizing the orders to people who also bought full self-driving. So there was like the least you could get a Model 3 for at the time was like 50 grand. Or maybe it was 60, right? And the price has just kept coming down to the point that today you can buy a Model 3 that's arguably better in many ways than the ones they were selling in 2018 for about 40 grand before EV tax credits that might knock it down, depending on your state, to more like $30,000, which is extremely competitive with anything else in the market. In the meantime, buyers can take advantage of hefty incentives. Combined federal and state subsidies can be as much as $15,000 in California. I wasn't aware which vehicle would qualify for $15,000 in California. Normally it would be $10,000, right? $7,500 federal, $2,500 state. Let me know if I'm getting that wrong in the comments. Tesla's pushing incentives hard these days as a way to bring down the price of its cars. On its inventory sales page, the $7,500 federal tax credit is in big, bold blue highlights at the top. Well, yeah, you want to let people know that there is an EV tax credit. Not everybody knows that exists. That's important information for a car buyer trying to make a decision. Musk is correct in pointing out this is an all-new model being built at a new factory. That factory may have all kinds of potential for driving down costs and the price in the future. Yeah, we saw that with Model 3 being produced in China. They can sell them in China for even less than they sell them for in the US because the cost to produce those vehicles in China is lower. At a purpose-built factory, not Fremont, and paying local wage rates, which are good wages, really competitive wages in Shanghai. So, yeah, there we go. But before we go, I want to give you one more guess at the price point. So you've heard the guess from Kelley Blue Book is $50,000. Let's see what Motorhead Brad Munkin had to say on the topic. On November 25th, 2019, Disruption Research tweeted, "What Tesla achieved with the Cybertruck unveil. Entered the #1 profitable market in the US, pickups, created its first sub-brand, the Cyber brand. There may be future Cyber models, right? Revolutionized car manufacturing with the stainless steel exoskeleton. Hinted at battery breakthroughs. Broke glass and the internet with that steel ball from Franz von Holzhausen. Got 200,000 plus deposits in less than 72 hours. So, and then 9 times that many since. And launched an ATV. We haven't heard a lot about the ATV in the back of the Cybertruck recently, but they did make a version for kids, or at least they sold a version on the Tesla website for kids that they bought from somebody else that made that for Tesla. I forget who the manufacturer of that all-terrain vehicle is. What did Brad Munkin have to say in the topic? That's a fake name. The reason why all the shaming of Brad Munkin bounces off him like it's nothing is because Brad Munkin isn't a real person. That's a fake identity being used by a person who has a different name, right? So that person doesn't care how often Brad Munkin gets dunked on. So let's dunk on Brad Munkin once again. Who's hating hard on Tesla today? Well, it's Brad Munkin here, hating hard on the Tesla Cybertruck, saying, don't forget final price tag could surge, given implied cost of goods sold per unit. Low end, $160,000 is what Brad Munkin says the starting price for a Cybertruck will be, with the mid-range Cybertruck option configuration going for $200,000. And the high-end, fully loaded Cybertruck, he thinks Tesla will charge $280,000 for that Cybertruck, assuming 200 kilowatt hour, 250 kilowatt hour, and 300 kilowatt hour battery packs, respectively. Oh yeah, if you... I don't think the Cybertruck is going to have anything close to this size battery pack in it. Maybe I'll be wrong. But if they did put a battery pack this size in the Cybertruck, they're still not going to charge $200,000 for it, Brad. Cost per kilowatt hour for a pack is $163, and that's an immutable law of the universe. No matter how many of them you make, no matter how many years pass, no matter how much improvement happens to lithium-ion battery production, the cost per kilowatt hour will always remain $163, Brad says. And the pack is 25% of cost of goods sold. So no matter what kind of vehicle you're making, no matter how many features you want it to have, no matter what it looks like, or, no matter what, whatever the battery pack costs you, it's going to cost you 3 times as much to make the rest of the vehicle. That's what Brad Munkin believes. And they'll lose 100% of orders. Okay, so we know all 2 million people with a reservation in for a Cybertruck are going to cancel their order because Brad Munkin told us they would lose 100% of orders. Wow. So what's my opinion on the starting price for the Tesla Cybertruck? I believe it will start between the $39,900 unveil price and this $160,000 price point Brad Munkin has identified. And that's my video for today. We'll check back in with Loki, who is still curled up sleeping in bed. And I'll outro and say, if you've enjoyed today's video, click the like button. If you're not subscribed to my channel, why not go ahead and subscribe to my channel already? If you're watching this video on YouTube, you'll see a link to do that over here for free. But thank you to everyone who supports me on Patreon for $4.20 per month, $4.20, or for 69 cents a week, $3 a month, on Twitter, now X.com. And those who support me by joining my YouTube channel, as my 2 executive producers did at the top tier, earning them a thank you at the end of every video. Thank you, Kathy Kitchler and Rebellionaire.com, and I'll see you in the next one.